Hello class, a very pleasant morning to all of you. My dear students, today we are going to have a revision lecture of unit number 2, that is Journey from Primitive Man to Settled Life. First of all, dear students, who were primitive men? Primitive man means the people of very old time. Approximately 20 lakh years ago, they lived a nomadic life in search of food and spent their time in hunting. This stage of human is called hunters and gatherers. Dear students, before 20 lakh years ago, they used to live a nomadic life. That means they had only a work of hunting. They do not had any social life. They have no settled life. So what they did is, in order to obtain food, they used to spend time in hunting, and this stage is called hunters and gatherers. They hunted animals like deer, fish, birds, and got their food from collecting the roots and fruits. They settled down near the sources of water, as water is essential for life. Archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians have found many places of habitation of primitive man in India. Since the life of hunters and gatherers is associated with the stone, this stage is considered as Stone Age. Primitive man used to cover their body with the peel of a tree and the skin of animals. Hence, in order to provide the protection to the body, they used the bark of trees and also the skin of animals. The primitive man used stone to cut vegetation and scrape from the skin of animals. They preferred to stay in good and large places where stones and wood could be found easily. Hence, they lived in caves for protection from rain and wild animals. Natural caves have been found in Vindhya mountain range in central India and the surrounding regions of Narmada river. This primitive people's habitat named Bhimbetika have been found in Madhya Pradesh. So dear students, this was how the primitive man used to live their life in order to survive, in order to get food and proper shelter. The places are still found where the essential things from which we can assume that those people used to live there is seen. Nearly 500 paintings of birds, deer, wood, trees, human beings, etc., drawn by the primitive man have been found in Bhimbetika caves. The ruins of ashes have been found from the caves of primitive men at Kurnal in South India. About 11,000 years ago, primitive men started to use fire. The discovery of fire brought revolutionary change in his life. As soon as the fire was invented, that was an age where a revolution took place in the life of primitive man. After that, the invention of wheel resulted in a significant change in the life of the primitive man. They made a wheel from the tree trunk and a thick wood. Almost 12,000 years ago, wide changes in the atmosphere around the world led to the development of grasslands. As a result, the number of herbivorous animals like deer, sheep, and goat increased. Primitive man came in contact with wheat, barley, and other grains. Due to the production of agriculture, the primitive man started a settled life. So this was how that various revolutions took place in the life of a primitive man, which led them to live the life from primitive man to settled life. The dog was the first companion of a settled life of a primitive man. Besides this, they became familiar with the animals like sheep, goat, cow, buffaloes, etc. They started animal husbandry with farming. As the wandering life came to end, there was a wide change in the food habits, clothes, and the shelters of primitive men. They made farming elements like spade and hoe, sickle, etc. from stone. The entire thing from the primitive man started leading themselves towards the settled life. Archaeologists have discovered like Gurkhal, Hungary, Mergra, Langnach and Bhimbetka, from where they got the evidences of primitive life. Sharp stone implements have been found from the places like Megara and Imagaon. In the ancient times, Mergra was to be considered as the oldest village of India. Presently, it is located in Pakistan. The farming of barley and wheat was started there. Sheep and goats were reared there. Primitive men also stored grains. According to the evidences found at the places, the people of that time buried goat with the dead body. The remains of children's dead bodies have also been found in Maharashtra. The people of this age lived in a round shaped houses. They reared cattle and grew millet and barley. So, dear students, this was how the journey from the primitive man to a settled life started. The people used to live a life in which they could get sufficient amount of food, and how to start a living, how the revolutions took place was done. So here we are at the end of this video. I am sharing a PDF file in which choose the correct option, fill in the blanks, true or false, match the following, and question answers are given, which can be helpful for your upcoming unit test. So go through this PDF once, and if you want, you can write the same in your fair book. Till then, study hard and study well. Thank you.